Popcorn world. Popcorn world. Yeah. Now, yes, I can. So you can get this groove in the back of a can. You can make it round the world when the holes in your hand. Popcorn world. 250 flavors gonna make you smile. 250 flavors gonna make you smile. 250 flavors gonna make you smile. I said popcorn make you smile. Ah. Popcorn world. Popcorn world. Popcorn world.
You're now listening to BLEAV in the ACC with Heisman Trophy winner and Florida State legend, Mr. Charlie Ward, Wave 3 TV, and Fern Creek Hall of Famer, Kendrick Haskins, and Mr. Talking Noise himself, and of course Mama Noise's man, Lloyd Smith. And now, it's time for BLEAV in the ACC.
I am very excited to have our special guest here today on BLEAV in the ACC, but I have to be honest, I didn't think about the fact that unless she has an actual 9 o'clock class, this is wildly inconvenient for her.
That woman ain't got no class.
Not today. Not today. I'm good.
Okay. All right.
Look, first I will introduce the funniest intern I've ever had at Wave Sports.
You swear.
The craziest intern I've ever had. The craziest intern I've ever had. And the best shooter I've ever had as an intern at Wave 3. The one and only Jayda Curry, UofL women's basketball point guard. Welcome I will point out that, when I was in college, I had I thought I was doing something with my little 18-inch TV and PlayStation. But Jada's got this big 50-inch flat screen behind her.
we just upgraded it because it was, I don't even know what inches it was before, but it was mini. So we had to upgrade it.
Y'all must be doing well.
No, shout out my former teammate Kiki. She left it behind for me, and we finally got it out of the storage. So I got to put it up on my wall a couple months ago.
I like it.
Hand-me-downs.
You silly.
I feel you.
I'm gonna show you how much God understands people. There's no way in our day we could have had a flat screen 50-inch in our room.
We lived on the first floor, so we used to break into the room and hook everybody's cable up and charge everybody $20.
I'm just thinking about all concerned. We just would have been stuck.
we went to Murray and Moorhead, so you know how that goes.
Yeah, there's nothing else to do there.
No.
Oh, there you go. Welcome. It's good to see you.
Thank y'all for having me. I'm excited to get going. I've heard about it and I've seen Kendrick do it, but I haven't obviously got to be in it, so I'm excited.
Bro,
Makes
careful
me
what you wish for. Especially with the guy with the button.
Yeah, that's the king of the humble flex down there, Charlie Ward, Jayda.
Okay.
We can give you a sample if you like. It's not a problem.
Well, sure, he'll do something anyway, but
no question.
I want to know on Coach Walls, how has he been this year? I know you guys are kind of near the top, but I'm just curious to know, with a mixture of young and old, how he's been able to handle this group.
Yeah, I mean, I think Coach Walls, he's doing a great job. He's trying to figure it out. I think because we have this mixed bag of really young players and then really old players and not many in the middle, he's trying to figure out ways to reach some of us. But I mean, he's still the Jeff Walls that you guys know. He pushes us every day. He's gonna coach us. Like he said it a couple times this year, like every game's a national championship. So he's coaching us hard. He's pushing us, trying to get the best out of us the same way he did last year, and I'm sure all the years before that. But definitely trying to figure out, how to bridge that gap between the younger and older players, as well as just coach the different generations. But I mean, he's still doing a great job for sure.
Jay, how is it for you? Because you're more of the big sister role now for a lot of these girls. Not only because you're a vet on the team, but also there's a lot of California girls on the team like yourself. So how are you? How much you like that role? And kind of being the bigger sister now.
Yeah, I mean, I love it. It's definitely a challenging role, one that I've never experienced for sure. My freshman year at Cal, I was one of two freshmen, and the other freshman, she came like a half a year early and had already a semester under her belt. So I was really the only freshman, whereas here, they have each other, which is, I love that for them and that they can create that bond with each other. But also, they look up to people like me and our other vets. So it's a great role to have. I think off the court, I try to do a lot for them, try to, keep them acclimated in the sense of, they're far away from home and just doing whatever they need or they ask for to help them out. But I feel like naturally I just like helping people in general. So it's not hard to help them, especially because they're really good kids. So
they look at you already calling them kids.
I'm old. I'm old in this.
Oh my God!
Collegiate world, not the real world, but yeah, they're my little sisters for sure.
Well, based on what you just said, does that in your mind explain kind of the slow start? Trying to get everybody to understand and the way it's all done of doing things, because got a slow start, but now you guys are really rolling.
Yeah, we've figured some things out. I think we have a long way to go, and it's also a good thing that we still have room to grow around this time, because you want to start clicking as we get closer to February. But yeah, I think just trying to get them acclimated, even get us acclimated to playing with each other. But I do think that we're slowly figuring it out. But also knowing like we have a lot to work on and just try to put in the work every day to keep growing in that way. But yeah, I think that they're dedicated to, willing to change, willing to learn, willing to get better. So it hasn't been extremely tough for us, the team as a whole, not even just the freshmen. But we're still definitely trying to figure some things out for sure.
Not to bring up old stuff, but that NC State game, after that, you all went on a run. What was it about the way you all lost that game that kind of brought that team together? Because y'all won, 6 straight after that?
Yeah, I mean, I think anybody, if you're a hooper at any school, those kinds of losses hurt, especially when they're at home. It was definitely disappointing for our team, disappointing for our fan base, and we just felt like We kind of did Louisville basketball, and not even just for us, but for the years before us, like a disservice in that game. And it wasn't a great example of who we are as a team. I think that after that game, we've learned to, regardless of the score, to fight. I think that whether we're up 30, down 30, up 15, down 15, like we just got to play hard and play together. And that's something that we've been focusing on, that we've been doing a lot better these past few games.
Now you have a couple of freshmen that came in with all the publicity because of their famous dads, Gilbert Arenas' dad, Zach Randolph. But it's been Taj Roberts who kind of flew under the radar with everybody else who has come in, and she has been lights out coming in as a freshman. Let's talk about her a little bit, because she has been unbelievable, and she's a quiet killer. Jeff was talking about it, it's like you'll look up and she'll have 17, 18 points. You don't even realize that she's scored. Talk about what she's brought to this team so far.
Yeah, I mean, Taj is great. Like you said, all the Cali kids. I played against Taj in high school when I was a senior. She was a freshman. I didn't play against Mac and Isella, but I've known them for quite a while. So I've known Taj for a little bit. She's always, in high school, she was the same way. She's quiet to herself, but on the court, she's a killer, and a quiet killer at that. So she's just brought definitely a scoring need that our team needs. She's brought defense as well. I think she's solid on both ends of the ball for sure. But even outside of the basketball, she's just a good person and brought a different energy to our team for sure. And she's a freshman, and Coach Walls will tell you that nobody's a freshman anymore. And we're still we're kind of past that point where everybody's played enough they've kind of graduated from freshmen to sophomores. But to me, they're still freshmen. They're still making freshman mistakes. But she's one that is willing to try to figure it out and get better for our team and figure out what our team needs from her to be better as a whole. So she's definitely putting in the work every day. She stays in the gym and putting in the work to just be a better teammate, be a better teammate for our team as a whole. So.
Now, you've had to battle through some injuries this year. Missed the first part of the season. How hard was that having to sit out, especially that France trip? Because I know how excited you were to go back to France. You'd already been to France. How hard was that?
Yeah, it was tough. I mean, of course, I wanted to experience that game with my teammates in France. But, when your body tells you no, it tells you no. And that was just one of those situations where I had to sit out a couple games. But I definitely was eager to get back. And once I was back, it took me a minute to get acclimated. But I feel like now we're kind of moving and grooving a little bit. But yeah, like I said, it was tough. Definitely wanted to play. It was kind of all the way up until that shoot around that morning. I was like, okay, I'm not gonna be able to do it. But yeah, it gave me a different perspective being on the side. I had a lot of fun cheering on Taj and the team. I mean, she had a killer game, and I was enjoying myself for sure. And we just kind of got to see where we were at early on in the season, and I enjoyed that for sure.
Who is the most Jayda Curry on the team of this group of freshmen?
Most Jayda Curry? What do you mean? Like most?
Who's the most? Who reminds you the most of yourself?
Ooh, I'm gonna be honest. All of them, they're all different though. Like I think everybody on the team is like, that's Mac, that's Issa, that's Mari. Like they have their own thing. They bring their own thing to the table, especially personality wise. None of them are like me. I'm actually very. Like I'm very I am outgoing once I get comfortable. Kendrick will tell you I like that. But off the bat, like they're such strong personalities, which I love, and they have their opinions and they're not afraid to speak up, which I love. But yeah, they're all different. I don't think anybody is like me, and I don't think I can be any of them at all for sure.
Charlie, let me tell you about the laser type focus Jayda has. We sit when we're shooting the game. We sit right next to the bench. Jayda didn't know that, even though we shot all of Jayda's games last year.
I had no clue.
We literally, they walk over us
every time. They hide people. I'm like, excuse me.
Lock in,
man.
Hey, Jay, I know you're guard, and want to know, like, in the ACC, there are quite a few guards that you have to compete against. who's like I get this question a lot. Um, who's who's some of your tougher guards that you have to compete against on a night-to-night basis?
Yeah, shoot, I think we're coming up on a really good guard. In Kimora Johnson, on Virginia, she can score it really well, plays with great pace. That's a great guard in the ACC. Tanai Latson is one that everybody says. I think she's still leading, leading the NCAA in scoring right now. Hannah Hidalgo, just the Energizer Bunny, plays with a bunch of energy on both sides of the ball. So she's a tough one too, and especially with Olivia Miles being back, that duo is a tough one. But I think we got tough guards. You know what I'm saying? I think we got people that people got to worry about too. So it's always fun to go head to head with these great guards. But I think every team has dynamic guards. Maybe not to the caliber of like a Tanaya Latson, but the ACC is a tough conference, and from guards to posts, like every team has the tools and has the skill for sure.
How much did getting that signature win against Georgia Tech mean for you guys? It finally got a win over a ranked opponent, an opponent that was playing really well coming into that game, to finally knock off an opponent and get a signature win. What did that mean for you guys?
Yeah, I mean, it meant a lot. I think that we struggled, and before we beat them, we were 0-5 against ranked opponents, and we had games like our Kentucky game, our Oklahoma game that we kind of just gave away, and those were tough losses, and you can't get those back. But winning that GT game showed us, we can battle with these top ranked opponents, and we can beat them as well. But also knowing like we still got work to do. I think that in beating them, we definitely aren't satisfied. That puts us at 1-5 against ranked opponents. So it's definitely not, what we want to see still. And just knowing that we got to keep working so that we can continue to, when we do see these ranked opponents like Duke and UNC, Notre Dame, we could play with them and even beat them. So
when you see what your roommates are doing, the men's team right now, I mean, you see how the city's on fire right now with the men's team. I mean, how's that trickle down to y'all? Because I see you all at their games, they're at your all's games, and it seems like you're all close to that bunch over there.
Yeah, I mean, now they're killing it. I mean, Rain the other day, I think he was like 10 for 17. Chucky had like 16 assists, just breaking records, and you can see that they're having fun with it too. So it's definitely fun to watch them, and it's all a testament to the work that they put in. We see them, over there. We see them through the weight room on the other side, and we see how hard they go. And sometimes they're on our court and for their shoot around or whatever the case may be. But we see how hard they work, and Coach Walls mentions them a lot about their work ethic and the things that they're doing, how impressed he is by them, and just trying to carry over some of the things that they're doing, into our practices as well. Guys' voice carries for sure. Like when they talk, they're definitely louder in their gym. But just trying to bring, that energy to our practices and stuff like that. But yeah, they're doing a great job killing everybody, and I hope that they continue to keep that streak alive. I think they're at 9 now, if I'm not.
They won 9 straight. We're gonna get a 10 of 17 threes from you.
Hey man, the 10 of 17 is. We were watching. I was like, yeah, this dude is shooting unconscious right now. But like I said, a testament to their work. We see him every day before practice. Then they practice. He's after, like he's getting that work in regardless, just getting shots up. So it was bound to happen for him to break a record like that for sure.
Now, Jeff told us about your evil twin.
Oh Lord.
Has the evil twin showed up this season?
Not fully. We're still trying to get her completely evil. It's tough, but nah, yeah. We're still working. I think that compared to last year, I've grown a lot. And that I'm in a different role for sure. As last year, we had a couple grad transfers. And Riss were seniors last year, so we had the vets, even though I was a junior. The older group, and now I'm kind of in that role too. So it's trying to find a balance between, worrying about myself and, what I'm saying, but also keeping everybody together and just locked in. So it's a different role for me, and I'm just trying to figure that out. But yeah, the evil twin, she'll be showing up real soon.
Well, speaking of Jeff, what has he meant to you as a player?
Yeah, I mean, he's challenged me in ways that I didn't think that I could be challenged or even needed to be challenged. I think that coming here, my expectation was not what ended up kind of happening. I think it was way harder than I thought it was going to be. Coach Walls is very blunt and he's transparent. And when I came to visit, he was like, I'm crazy. Like, I'm telling you, I'm crazy. I'm like, okay, cool. Like, that's fine. And he's really that. Like, he's really going to push you. He's going to push buttons that I didn't even know. I was like, okay, you push this button. I didn't even know I had this button to be pushed. But yeah, and it's a good thing though. It's a way that, you grow. And I feel like I've grown so much just within 1 year and still have room to grow. But yeah, it's a testament to him and how hard he pushes me. And, you with your coach, it's a love-hate relationship. And that's just the natural thing about it. It's like, dang, sometimes I just don't want to see you say Coach Ball. Sometimes I but in all that, I'm grateful for everything that he has done for me and that he continues to do for me and just the ways that he continues to challenge me every day for sure.
How much different is Coach Walls when he's recruiting you from Cal to when you showed up on campus?
Yeah, I mean, a little bit different. And my thing is, he told me it was my fault because I didn't really take what he said for like all he said. But he told me, he was like, I'm gonna push you. Like if you want to be a pro, like they produce pros here, and I'm like, that's one of the main reasons I did come. And now how he produced them. That's why I was confused about a little bit on my visit. But no, he told me he was going to get on me. He was going to challenge me. And he's definitely kept his side of the deal on that for sure.
One of the most impressive things you said to me over the summer, aside from making me laugh every day, was your reasoning for coming here. Because like you told me at Cal, you was the star of the team. You was the star of the show, and you had to run the team for the most part, and you could do whatever you wanted. But you didn't want that. You wanted to come here and win because you weren't winning. It's talk about that decision. Because that's a big cultural change coming from California to Louisville.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I jumped right into the fire in that one. Even just coming, like you said, from all the way from California all the way to Kentucky, it was a big change for me. But like you said, I just felt like I wasn't being challenged in the way that I needed to be, and I wasn't gonna be able to grow the way that I needed to be. I'm serious when I say like I don't coming from last year to this year, like I don't know how or what happened, but I just feel like I've grown so much as a person, as a basketball player, and I still have room to grow. But I don't think I would have gotten that if I didn't come here and I didn't come, be coached under Coach Walls and our coaching staff. So it definitely was a big decision. Like you said, at Cal, I was kind of running the show over there, and it was, some people would transfer to do that, to, get more shots and be able to score more. And I've had my fair share of this, and like, I want to win. I want to be challenged. I want to just learn more about being a point guard, what it takes to be a pro. And Coach Walls has all of the accolades, the achievements to, help me do that. So yeah, that's mainly why I made my decision and why, unfortunately, it had to be in Kentucky. I'm such a Cali girl at heart, so that was the tough part about it. These past couple of weeks being how cold they are, I don't know how I've survived.
I was just about to ask you about that. All the snow we've had. You and Charlie are experiencing something that y'all don't get is snow. They got a bunch of snow down in Tallahassee.
My car was stuck in the same parking spot for the week I didn't touch it. I was like, I'm not even going to try to get it out. Marissa was in there scraping the snow, throwing the salt under my tires. Like, her Canadian tail was helping everybody clear their cars. But it was cool. It was cool to experience. Would I ever want it again? Please, no, don't bring the snow back. But yeah.
I was going to say, I bet Marissa was loving it being from Canada.
She literally, we went out there. She was doing her car. She helped with mine. She was like, let's just do she did everybody's car on the team, like everybody's car. Wow. We were cleaning snow all day. It was cool though. It was fun to be outside and breaking ice and moving snow. So,
but y'all don't go anywhere. So what you need to clean your cars off for?
Exactly. She cleaned mine and mine stayed in the same spot. So, I don't even know.
Charlie, that's what you love about this team. They don't go anywhere. Which is crazy. They don't go. Every time we go somewhere in town on her internship, she'd never been there before. And we could be 10 minutes from campus.
We need to touch grass a little bit more, for sure.
That sounds a little bit like me when I was in college. I didn't go anywhere. But do y'all stay in the same area, apartment complex as a group, or are
Yeah,
y'all
we all
spread
stay
out?
here. We stay here. Not all the men's basketball players, but a handful of them stay here at Denny Crum. I think lacrosse is the other sport, and then like the other 50% is like sports administration students. And then we like right across the street from our practice facility, which is really nice. Just literally walk over. So it is a nice location. The dorm is really nice. It's a great living situation for sure.
The dorm is beyond nice. He's
Mhm.
downplaying. The dorm is
Oh
ridiculous.
yeah, it's probably up there with top in the country for sure.
I want to talk to Jayda the intern for a second, and why sports TV? What or sports media? What interested you in that?
Yeah, I mean, I love sport. I was really searching for a way just to stay near sport. My older sister actually is a like TV personality. Like she does all those things. Broadcast. She's done sports broadcasting. She models. She does just TV interviews. She's done everything, and I've seen her kind of just do that over the years. And like loved seeing her do it. And I was like, oh, I could maybe dabble in that a little bit. Why not? And then I just love sports. So I reached out to, I think Zach and Alyssa helped me find this internship, but I was just looking for something where I could, you know, work on that skill or just learn more about it. And I was pleasantly surprised that I got to do everything behind the scenes on camera. Like I kind of got to do a lot of everything, which I enjoyed because I was just thinking at first, like, yeah, on camera, but like I said, I am a shy person. Like, yeah, when I get on camera, I get comfortable and that's cool. But I also enjoyed like doing the editing and going out and filming these games and stuff like that was a really fun part about it for sure.
How is Kendrick as a boss?
Great.
Don't do that. Don't do that. You can tell this. Jayda, this is a safe space.
Hey, I can't do nothing now.
Right. Did he treat you right? Did he take care of you?
Oh yeah, Kendrick was great. I think I learned so much from him and from his favorite person in the world, Dusty. But they they were great, and Kendrick, he just allowed me to really get a feel for everything. When we were out, I was filming the games and stuff like that. When we got back, he let me edit a lot of things that were actually on some of their broadcasts and stuff like that. So it was fun, and he allowed me to do a lot, and I learned a lot from him for sure. And like he's saying I made him laugh. They made me crack up every day. So it was definitely a joyful and fun experience, and that I had a lot of fun doing. Would love to come back for sure if I could. But,
and you always have an open door.
I like that.
One of my funniest stories from when Jay was in, two of them stand out. But the first one was the first time that Jayda and I went somewhere. We went to a high school baseball practice. And so Jayda hadn't really been around baseball that much. She's a basketball girl. So at first, they just bunting and stuff, so it's not making that much noise. But then they start swinging the bat for real with that aluminum bat. And you know how it pings and pops off that bat. Jayda's like, oh no, they getting active in here.
They was. I was like, oh yeah, let me back up a couple steps so I can hit.
What's your dream sports job?
I've thought about coaching. I've thought about broadcasting. I've thought about, obviously I want to go pro. That would be my job for a while. But yeah, I don't know. I really just want to stay around sport. I feel like I've always loved helping people, but being around basketball and collegiate basketball now, being in the role that I'm in now, I've like really been like, okay, I really do like helping people, and whether that be if they need a ride to go wherever, like I'm gonna be the person to do it. But yeah, I don't know. I just like to help people, and I feel like I find that the most possibly in coaching, and just being like a mentor. I think Coach Amanda Butler, our new coach that came on this year, has been a great person for me, and that I've gotten really close to, and I kind of just love how she helps me and helps the girls on the team. And I'm like, dang, like I would want to, do something like that after I'm done playing. But yeah, I just want to stay around sport. the unrivaled league that's around, helping out with that. Like just anything that I end up doing, I'd be happy to do if it involved basketball for sure.
How much did being out kind of spark that coaching part of it?
Oh yeah, I didn't think before this year that, like, I thought about everybody who plays basketball. I was like, oh, maybe I'll GA or I'll coach. But I really enjoy like seeing the game from a different perspective. I don't think there's been a time where, except for at Cal when I had COVID and I had to sit out, but I didn't even attend the game. So this was the first time where I was like at a game, sitting out because I was hurt and I had to watch from a different perspective. But I loved it. I mean, I felt like sometimes when I'm in the game now, when I can't do as much of like, hey, like I saw this and you could do this and whatever, because I'm in it and I'm thinking about, okay, what did I just do? What did I mess up on? Just think I'm in it. So when you're out of it, outside looking in, it's just a different perspective. And I think that definitely sparked more of an interest in like the coaching position for me. And it was fun. I mean, I was out, me and Becca in the back of the bench was just hype, and like it's a fun, definitely a different role, but it was a fun role to play for those few games.
How have you seen the women's game change over the years? I know you've been in it for a few years, and you've seen this transformation where you mentioned, you just talked about the Unrivaled League and how that's like the new up and coming off season for some of the WNBA, as opposed to going across seas to play.
Yeah.
And so just curious to see get your thoughts on how the women's game has changed over the years that you've been in, even in college.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, from the college perspective, I think for me, simply coming from the Pac-12 to the ACC, that the style of play was just a big change and adjustment for me. I think in the Pac-12, a little bit of a slower pace, a little bit more of a ball screen, post guard type of play. Whereas here, we still do that, but a lot faster. We get up and down. We're pushing tempo. About getting more possessions. Sometimes the Pac-12, it's like, okay, we want to slow it down. We want less possessions, control the game more. But yeah, that's just for me personally in a conference change. But I just think in general, like women's basketball is getting so much more attention. Like you said about the Unrivaled League, like that's becoming something that it seems like a lot of people are going to be trying to be a part of instead of having to go overseas during the off season. And I love it. I mean, I've been watching the games. It's super competitive. You kind of get to see a little bit of more of a one-on-one aspect of it, and just see players' skill sets a lot more than you would in 5-on-5, where there's just less space, honestly. Yeah, the court's smaller, but there's still a lot more space for people to really get after it, which I like. But yeah, I just think that a lot of the players that were coming out of college, the Caitlin Clarks, the Angel Reeses, have driven a lot of attention and have really helped our game grow in that aspect. Financially, just from a viewing standpoint. So I think we're just kind of slowly but surely moving up, and I think now it's just time where it's gonna take off for sure.
How weird is it that you leave Cal, then all of a sudden they're in the same conference, and how much are you looking forward to playing them later this season?
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. I think I didn't expect it when I came here to ever see them again, but it's exciting. I think everybody wants to play their own team. Leah got the opportunity to play Miami, and so it's a part of the sport. I mean, you leave places and there's no hard feelings, but you also you want to get back at the team you came from. Simple as that. So but yeah, it'll be cool. I honestly don't know any of the girls on the team anymore besides one person. So it's not like I'm seeing anybody that I knew besides a couple of the coaches on the coaching staff. But yeah, it'll be different because I don't know them. But at the same time, we're trying to win every game, so it is what it is.
What's a Jeff moment that made you laugh that you can share on on a broadcast?
You can share. You can share is the key.
Right. There's a lot of Jeff moments. Let me think of one recently. What's a good Jeff moment?
Where he's yelling you to shoot, I bet.
Jeff moment, the continuous moment, is when he impersonates someone or like us, and he's like, Like he'll try to he'll do it himself, and it's like it's always dramatized, and it's like Coach Walden look like that, and he's like, yes, you look like that. So I just think when he imitates us, and like a closeout, he's like, you guys come out here and you don't chop your feet or whatever the case may be. Those are moments where it's you got to pick and choose when you want to laugh. It's like, okay, he's being serious, but it's actually really funny how he's doing it. So those moments are always the funny ones. And you look to your left and you see your teammate try not to laugh, and it's like, okay, we gotta lock you. But yeah, he's a funny guy.
What is it like when you do laugh at the wrong moment?
Oh, we know when to laugh and when not to laugh. He makes it very clear for sure.
I think my favorite moment so far is the press conference you guys had after the Miami game. And you shockingly said, well, I think it was shocking to some people. I don't know how, but you said, oh, we went over to the other practice court and practiced the things that we needed. I was like,
oh yeah. Hey, we were sitting down because we always go to the practice gym. We just to sit down, but he walks in, he's like, all right, get up. And we walked over there and we went through our zone offense. But yeah, he'll do whatever it takes to win. He's like, if y'all need me to draw it. He always says, if you need me to stand on my head and coach you, I'll do whatever you need me to get you to play hard and do the things that I'm asking you to do. Like he's all for that.
I was gonna say, is he the most unconventional coach you've ever had?
And the thing that he hasn't had to stand on his head yet, and I'm waiting for that day. I need somebody to tell him like, hey, if you do this, I'll do this, and if he does a cartwheel or something, then I'll be like, yeah, he's got unconventional for sure.
He's probably close to it in that NC State game.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, have you been surprised that are you surprised that he doesn't get more text than he does? Because he says some wild stuff over on that sideline.
Yeah, no, I think no, because I think he would if we were sitting here complaining about it. But like I said, I think sometimes, and this is anywhere. I mean, Coach Walls is the only coach that, is just saying the things that he says. And all the things he says is about the game. It's not like he's out here disrespecting us or nothing. It's never that. It's just him challenging us at the end of the day. So he's just trying to push us and trying to find those buttons to push. Like, okay, what's gonna make her click and be like, all right, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do what you tell me, whatever it is. But yeah, no, he just it's a great balance. I say this all the time. Like off the court, he's so approachable and he's so such a family guy and just such a great person that it's like when we're on the court, I know that he's not coming at me personally. He's just trying to get the best out of me.
Are any of you babysitting his kids? Because I know players have in the past.
They're older now. Lucy and Lola, Lola almost taller than me. Like I'm like, I was here for a year. You grew 7. You grew so tall though. Like she grew and they're older, but no, we see them often. Babysitting, they don't really need, a babysitter anymore. They're so old. It's crazy.
Now, off the court, you got some things going on. Talk about that. You got your clothing design going on. Talk about what you got going on.
We just revamped my website, thejaydacurry.com, where I'm selling like my merch and stuff like that. We kind of, came out with our first drop, a couple t-shirts, hoodies, things of that nature, beanies, hats, whatever you need, we got it for the most part. If you have suggestions, let me know. We can do socks, we can do whatever. But yeah, just revamping that, trying to get that going. And but yeah, that's what we got going right now. If you have, like I said, any suggestions, anything y'all want to see, don't like, do like, I'm open to everything.
And what is the site again?
It's the THEJayDacurry.com.
Okay.
We're still waiting on our drop. Talk about your folks, especially your father, and how much of a part of all of this they are and how involved they are, because it is a total family affair. It's not just Jayda out there doing her thing or just your sister out there doing her thing. It's a whole family affair with you guys. Let's talk about the closeness of your family.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, my family is everything to me, and my mom and dad have dedicated so much time to just there you go. That's it right there.
Yeah.
You too. They put a good picture up there. My family, I love them to death. And my mom and my dad have sacrificed so much for me over the years and with this basketball thing, and spent so much money, spent so much time. And I feel like I just have to do everything I do, not only for myself, but for them as well, because they've just put so much into it. And my little sister, she plays basketball as well at LMU. She's been out for a little bit with she's had some back problems and a back surgery, so she's trying to get back. But we grew up playing basketball together, and they put so much time and effort into that. And then my youngest sister now plays volleyball, and they're just doing it all over again. So they love us to death, and I feel like in everything I do, whether it be basketball, school, life, I have to reciprocate that energy of just giving back to them. And but yeah, I mean they're a huge part of everything that I do for sure.
Your younger sister playing volleyball, she's got to be a libero, right? Or did she get your older sister's height?
Everybody got the older sister's height, but me. She is 5. I think she might be 5'9" now, maybe. She might be 5'8", 5'9". Layla's almost 5'10". She about 5'8", 5'9" too. And then Kayla, my oldest, I think she's 5'11". So right. I don't know what happened with me. I was born to be a point guard, apparently. But I guess I got the shooting ability, which was coupled with my shortness. So I'll take it.
Is it competitive with you guys?
Oh, always. I mean, me and Layla, I used to be the older and bigger sister at one point. So she switched up and she got bigger than me. We really used to get after it because I'm like, girl, I'm still older than you. So well, I'm bigger than you. Like it didn't matter. But we were always playing basketball outside, at home. So it was always competitive. I mean, I think we're a competitive family in everything we do. We could be, I don't even know who could wash their clothes the fastest. And it's, it's anything. In our game nights, in our Christmas, we're playing Christmas games, and it gets real rowdy for sure. In everything that we do, but it's super fun.
Jayda's funny, and her competitive. We'll go out on stories, and if there's a basketball around, Jayda's shooting it. And so,
you gotta keep it.
Yeah, her and Preston, who's a sports reporter here in town. Those two used to go at it all the time. Preston's in his mid to late 20s, so they're not that far off in age. And he still plays, and Preston's about, what do you think, about 6'2", 6'3"?
He up there. Yeah.
And these fools will be out there shooting against each other all the time. So
Preston kicks, every time I see Preston, it's good. If there's a basketball court, we're shooting, and I'm killing him every time.
I was just gonna ask, can he shoot?
Now he can shoot a little bit. He shoot a little bit. We still really haven't really like had a set competition. It's been like, oh, I'm shooting, I have girls and stuff like that. But I see him.
That doesn't sound very encouraging because everybody can shoot a little bit.
I mean, he can shoot a little bit.
So she said no.
No, he can't shoot all. She's being nice.
He can shoot a little bit. He has a nice form. Nice form.
Nice form doesn't mean they're going in.
Where's this shade coming from, Charlie?
I'm just saying. Can he shoot or not?
You gotta get him on here. Let him speak.
She's trying to be
observation. Well, I want to ask you about. I'm a high school coach, and I'm just like to ask you. What are some words of wisdom you can give to a high school coach to be able to share with his team, or be able to share with the team on preparing their student for college?
That's a good one. College is a different beast, and I just think there's a lot of things you can do preparation wise, mentally, physically, but at the end of the day, one thing I would encourage high school players to do when they do get to college is just to embrace I guess you could call it the ugly, and just embrace the feelings of growth and the feelings of growing pains, because I feel like sometimes you get into this thing where it's like, well, this is very uncomfortable for me, and I'm not used to this, and it's hard, and all of these things. And I would just say, from experience of not embracing it and kind of being like, dang, like, I don't know if I can do it, having these thoughts, and you'll have those regardless, but also always coming back to, like, you're here for a reason, and you wouldn't be here if you didn't put the work in. So continue to put the work in, continue to embrace growing, whether that be physically, in the weight room is something that a lot of freshmen struggle with. It's picking up big weight. Like, some people don't lift at all in high school. And I would encourage people to lift in high school just so you get an idea of, what it's going to be like. But you can never be set yourself up to be in a position to be like ready to take on challenges and be ready to grow through anything that you go through.
Oh, thank you.
Charlie, you got some advice with Jayda. I mean, you've been where she wants to be, and you played in the NBA. Y'all both played point guard, and you both were not the tallest in the world at your position. You got some advice? Charlie's a little bit taller than me. I know I ain't that tall.
Not the tallest in the world. What do you mean?
Undersized point guard. I mean,
I feel a certain way about that statement.
You should, Charlie. You absolutely should.
Charlie, you know I love you, brother.
Well, compared to my teammates, a lot of my teammates, I was the smallest. I mean, but a lot of those guys were 6'8", 6'6". I'm not that. But I always found myself in the huddle with those guys and wondered, like, man, these dudes are tall, and why I'm always the smallest guy. But somebody needs glue. Every team needs glue players, and that was my role, and all my basketball roles. I was a glue guy, meaning, I did all the necessary things to help everyone else be better. So as a point guard, when I was playing football, Sam Cassell didn't like playing point guard because what does he like to do? He likes to shoot. So when he was playing point guard, that meant he had to get everyone else involved and, of course, get his shots up as well. But when I came back, he was the happiest dude on the court because he knew he could fulfill his role better.
Right.
And so, I lead currently. My job was, I was the steals guy. Like, that's what I did. And I coming from football to basketball, from a skill development standpoint, I just didn't have it until like the end of the year. But I knew my role. And once I figured out how I can make an impact on the game and on our team, I just stuck with it. Like, I wasn't trying to do what I couldn't do. I was doing what I could to be effective, and it worked for me. And so I think finding your role, and then same thing in the NBA. I found my role, and I was able to play it to the best of my ability, and was able to get 11 years out of the deal because of just me understanding my role and not trying to do anything else, understanding who I was playing with, and then defensively finding my niche. I wasn't a very good individual defender, but as far when it came down to the team defense, I was on point. And so just understanding like your strengths and weaknesses is always was one of the things that helped me to be able to, carve out different careers as a professional or even in college. So just understanding your role and, your character, leadership, all those types of things got to be on point as well. Because when you're doing the right things, holding yourself accountable and holding your teammates accountable, people respect you and they want you to be on their team, because that's one of the things you have to be mindful of is you want to make sure that people want you to be around. Like, you don't want to be that person that's always on people and you're not holding yourself accountable, or you're always doing something crazy and they just don't want you to be around. And so I just think it's important that you want your teammates to want you to be there, and your coaches as well.
And who wouldn't want Jayda around?
Yeah, I can see that. I'm actually curious to know how well Jayda knows her teammates. So I'd like to play a little most likely with you. If you don't mind. I'm just curious. Just
God, they're gonna get me in trouble with them if they
no trouble. We're just gonna have some fun. All right. So who's most likely to forget where they parked their car?
This is not a good game. Forget where they parked. I got two people. I got two people. Nyla and Mac.
Okay. All right. Most likely to win the lottery but lose the ticket.
Jalea.
You didn't even hesitate on that.
You didn't even hesitate on that one.
Right, you was like, boom.
Why is that? Why? I mean,
it's funny because she always like if she sees like 333 or like her room number is 206. If she sees 206 somewhere in the world, she's like, I'm gonna tell my grandma I played that for the lotto. So I thought lottery. I'm like Leah, and she would definitely lose the ticket.
Got you. Okay. Most likely to learn a new language.
I say Marissa.
What language do you think she might be interested in?
Well, she already knows French.
Oh, okay.
So she could get down with a little Spanish, maybe. I think she could learn it.
Okay. Most likely to invent a new language.
Oh, invent?
That sounds like
invent one?
Yeah, like just,
might invent one.
Like you walk into practice and she got her own thing going.
Oh, different slang? Oh, between Sosa and Jalea, they're roommates. Them two, they might come up with their own secret language. They got it for sure.
I like it. All right. Who's eating pizza for breakfast?
Leah is gonna get all the pizza. Leah might eat pizza for breakfast. She'll eat whatever.
Okay, all right. Who's the best detective on the team?
Best detective. Ooh. Yeah. Okay. Detective. I feel like I'm a pretty good detective. Like if you need me to find something out, I'll find it out.
Okay, that's the reporter in you.
That one might be me. That one might be me.
All right. Who's gonna remember everybody's birthday?
Oh, who's gonna remember everybody's birthday? I struggle with birthdays. I think who would remember everybody's birthday?
Listen, thank God for Facebook because
right. You gotta check.
I know like 4 people's birthdays.
Who would remember? Look, there's 15 people on this team. I can't even think of everybody on our team. I think
he definitely out on you as far as remembering everybody's birthday.
I think no. Me, I mixed them up. I mixed up a couple of them the other day. I was like, is it yours on the no. I think Riz might remember the most birthday. Oh, you know what? Becca would remember the most birthdays.
All right, you did good. See, that was painless. That
was good. Leah got most of those. That's Leah.
She did. All over go to.
But who's the most competitive when y'all get on the 2K?
Oh, good question.
Well, this is a real Fortnite team.
Mm-hmm.
And the best at Fortnite is definitely Anaya Hardy, one of the freshmen. Now, the most competitive, we're all so competitive. We all think we're the best at Fortnite. And like, I know I suck, but I'm going to tell you, like, no, put me on the squad because I'm like that. And I know I suck. I know. You can't admit it. Like, you gotta fight for something.
Self-awareness is good.
Right? Yeah, I know I'm not, by far not the best. I think Taj got me on that. Mari got me on that. Leah, Anaya, they all better than me, but put me on the squad because I'm gonna figure it out.
Who is your WNBA comparable?
Comparable. I love comparable. That's a good one. That's a great question. I really haven't thought about it, but my favorite WNBA players are Skylar Diggins and Kelsey Plum.
I see that.
Those are my two probably.
I can see that.
Yeah, mm-hmm.
I can absolutely see that. All right. First, I don't know if Kendrick and Charlie have seen Unrivaled, but I have actually seen Unrivaled. Mm-hmm. I think it's fantastic. I think it's going to be a game changer. So shout out to the Colliers for jumping out there and taking the lead on that. That's really cool. Is that something in addition to the WNBA opportunity? Is Unrivaled something you're looking forward to?
Yeah, I love Unrivaled. I think, like you said, I think it's great. I think the competition is great. I mean, the first game out the gate, I think it was the Lunar Owls, and I don't know the team that Jewel Lloyd is on. All I remember was Jewel Lloyd and Skylar Diggins.
Yeah, it was good. It was a heck of a game.
Oh yeah, that's what I mean by like that one-on-one aspect. You still get in that 3-on-3. So I love it. I definitely would want to be a part of it for sure. But yeah, they're doing a great job between Nafisa and Brianna just putting that together. I mean, it was a great idea, and it's definitely more than what I expected and doing what it needs to do for sure.
Awesome.
That's the beauty of where their campus is, because we've heard a train and now we're hearing a plane fly over the door.
Oh, listen, I heard that plane, at least 3 planes have flown over since you.
Waking up in the middle of the night, like, what is that? And it's right.
But as a true professional, Jayda did not blink, not one time.
Not one.
Sound like she's used to it.
If you're down there where their dorm is, you are used to it, because the train track is probably about 100 yards from the dorm, and it's a very active train track. And then they're also in the flight pattern. So all the flights are landing and taking off right above their dorm.
Right here.
Your thoughts about your home state and what they've been going through?
Oh yeah, man. I mean, it's tough. My sister is the closest to it. My older sister, because she's lives in downtown. She's actually in Miami right now for work though, so she's away from it. But it's crazy. I mean, fires in California are normal. Now to this capacity, definitely not. And I've seen a lot of people. A couple of the girls on our team, they know people whose houses have been burned or they've been displaced and stuff like that. So definitely praying for all those families and everybody out there. Fortunately for me, I haven't been personally affected by it when I talk about like my family and things like that, but I do know some people who have, had to evacuate and things like that. So it's getting slowly but surely contained. And I hope that, it'll be contained a little bit faster. And but yeah, just a sad thing to see, all these people's houses. I mean, you even see, of course, they publicize like the JJ Reddicks and the people. I don't know if you guys know who Janae Aiko is.
Yeah,
of course. Yeah.
Okay.
Not that old. Golly.
I was just wondering. I didn't know.
Cold game out here, boy.
No. But yeah, I mean, you see people who you never think, their houses would be touched in a fire, but it happens to everybody, and that's the crazy part about it. But yeah, just a sad thing, but just praying for everybody out there for sure.
You miss an In-N-Out burger?
Oh my gosh, where's Dusty? Because that was one thing me and Dusty brought it over with some In-N-Out burger. Because oh my.
But Jayda, can we have an honest moment about In-N-Out burger though?
Tell me nothing about In-N-Out.
No, just one little thing. We have one in Texas.
I'm open to opinions.
Just one opinion. The burger, I love it.
Okay.
With those fries, come on.
That's fair.
Okay,
I can eat it all. I'm gonna eat the fry, the shake, the burger. I'm gonna eat it all. But
you gotta eat it like in the moment though. You can't be taking it home because it's like you don't.
The fries get cold and they're nasty, and you got to get a good batch. But the burger and the shake's gonna hit every time. Every time. 100%. 100%.
Jayda, we'll get you out on that. One more time, shout out your website.
Yes, thejaydacurry.com. Thank y'all. Thank y'all so much for having me. It was so fun.
And like I said, she lived up to everything I said. I did not overhype her because you cannot oversell Jayda.
Not at all. You are welcome here anytime you would like.
Thank y'all.
I've been able to stay in contact with Jayda since her internship ended. She actually worked with 2 of my other interns, with Courtney Walton and Nick Curran, the play-by-play guy for the women's basketball team on the radio. And so there's a lot of Wave 3 love within the UofL basketball program. So, Jayda, thanks again for joining us. I will see you soon. You're on the road on Sunday at Virginia.
Yes.
Good luck there, and we will see you down the road. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thanks, guys.
Jayda. Rest of the season.
She is delightful.
She's great. She's
delightful.
She's a natural in front of the cameras. The thing is though, she's so comfortable with Dusty and I that whenever we try to get her to do stand-ups, she's goofy the whole time. So we got to reel that part of it in so she can get something out. But I mean, she's gonna be successful whatever she decides to do in life. and she's great on the floor. She's come on the floor. Part of the turnaround for their season was her returning from
100%.
injury. She had a hamstring injury. She battles a foot injury too, but she goes out there. She does what she has to do. She's known as a 3-point shooter, but she does much more than that for that team, and she is a leader on that team. So she's everything you would want in a basketball player, and everything you'd want as an intern and possible employee down the road.
I'll say this about them, just getting it back to basketball, Charlie. Their turnaround, and I say they, I mean the entire men and women's team over there, has been somewhat remarkable this season, because it's kind of like both teams went through the exact same thing of kind of finding themselves and having to really understand the culture of what it means to play in this system. Talk about, as a coach, how hard it is to hate to use this word, but evolve a team through a season in that process. How difficult is that to get a team to understand the culture that you're trying to establish going into a season?
Well, I think it all stems from, your off season habits. A lot of people always think about the season, but your off season habits kind of fuel what happens during the course of the season. Um, and your strength and conditioning program, your workouts, skill development workouts, your team bonding, all those things happen early on, and then once the season happens, you're together all the time, and you're having to put all those things that you did in off season together. And as a coach, you kind of know what you have, and the strengths and weaknesses of your team, and you want to see them develop and grow throughout that process. And you also sometimes don't know. You kind of know what
Yeah.
certain guys can do or ladies can do, but you don't know, especially if you have freshmen, because they are young players. You definitely they have to go through that seasoning process, where they're going to be, especially their dynamic. I'm going through that right now with one of our guys. You know, uber talented, but some of the things you just have to continue to work out. And I'm like, they're young, and you just have to keep coaching them up and coaching them through. And so you understand that, you're gonna be frustrated because some of it seems like you keep repeating yourself, but they also just give you that wow moment, like they understand it, and you don't want to be as harsh, or sometimes you just have to pick your spots as a coach. Um, but when you start seeing them work together, and it's a process, you have to continue to share with them, what it looks like to be a team, and your leaders. You have to encourage them as well. Like, you know, I need you to step up and lead in this area, to be able to help the group. So any quality team, I shared a message yesterday with our group. Any quality team is going to be player led, and
Mm,
the team is going to be successful, I should say, long term. It's going to be player led.
yeah.
And so when you have guys that are stepping up and leading, and in that way of being able to motivate their teammates by the way they first handle themselves, and then hold their teammates accountable, in the right way, and they kind of understand and know what you're doing, what the coaches are trying to get across. That's where you start to see the evolution of a group. And so, you know, any team that's successful long term, I guarantee you, there's a group of players that have stepped up to lead, um, and that is a coach's dream. When you have your players leading their teammates, and all the teams that I was on, that was successful. That's what it was. The coaches wasn't the loudest voice, in the room. They were just the ones that were confirming certain things, but they weren't the loudest voice in the room. and then they held each other accountable. So I think when you start to see teams do well, I guarantee you their players have stepped up to lead in some form. They've taken on what the coaches have asked them to do, and now they're doing it. And so it was just refreshing to hear her say, I think it's number 6. He's the shooter, the lefty, the one that went 10 for 17.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
For him to she sees
Rain Smith.
him, sees him in the gym, putting in the work.
Yeah.
Like there's no replacement. Like people try to shortcut and do all those different things. Like there's no replacement for putting in the work.
Right.
And I say, your confidence comes from the work you put in. Like reps were moved out as we've adopted that phrase. And people's like, well, my confidence going. Well, put in more work. Like when you put in more, you feel a little bit more comfortable about what you're doing. But no coach can take that. People tell me, well, the coach takes my confidence because X, whatever the XYZ. I'm like, well, if you're putting in work and you're producing it at a high level, the coach gonna put you in, or he's gonna leave you in, or whatever the case may be.
Right.
And so, yes, you're gonna make mistakes. Everybody does that. However, how do you recover from your mistake? Like some people make mistakes and then they jog back. They turn the basketball over, or something happened, and then they jog back. Like, no, you're trying to get the ball back, so you need to be sprinting back. That, to me, that's giving effort and not allowing the play before to dictate how you continue. So when people talk about confidence, well, 10 for 17. Well, I'm sure the man is in the gym shooting. It's not just
that's not accidental.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that's not accidental.
Yeah, that's the third time he's broken a 3-point record at a school. He did it twice at Charleston.
Wow.
He had a 10 3-pointer game, and then he followed that up with an 11 3-point game.
Wow.
At Charleston. So
I want to ask both of you real quick. With Louisville's 9-game winning streak, now they're on a week break. Is that great, Charlie and Kendrick, or do you, or when you're winning like that, do you want to keep playing?
You would like a couple of days off, but maybe not a week.
Yeah,
right.
I was thinking that. It's a long time.
Right.
But I'm sure Coach, is it Kelsey, right?
Kelsey, yeah.
It will keep them sharp during that week off. Especially if you have a competitive team. There'll be some days that you can get some recovery days in because the season is long. That's the reason why they have a week off. But during that week, there's a lot of skill development work. There's a lot of work that you can do to fine tune your offense and defense. So some of that, and then keep it competitive, amongst the group. And I think that's probably the reason why they are where they are now. It's because they're a very competitive group within themselves and practice. If you have guys that can compete at a high level on both sides, 10 guys, then the prices are really, really super, I should say, competitive.
And if you watch them play, they're very businesslike about their approach. It's not a whole bunch of flash. It's not a whole bunch of gallivant. I mean, Terrence Edwards, he'll get the crowd going a little bit, but that's about it. But like Rain Smith, I mean, he comes down, fires that lefty jumper, and just runs back down the court. Chucky Hepburn will come down and throw a flashy pass, but he's stoic the whole time. That dude's face does not change.
This is the most if you and kid, you'll know what I'm saying when I say this. This is the most un-Louisville team Louisville has ever had. Like, if you look at it historically, they don't look anything like what Louisville has ever looked like. Yet, for sure, it's the best team they've had in 5 years. And it's not
skill-wise, they do look like a Louisville team, but they're the
say it again.
Skill-wise, I think they do look like
skill-wise for sure. Yeah,
but I get what you're saying though. They're not in your face.
They're not in your face. They're not flashy.
Teams can be.
They're very blue collar, and I really like that. I love that about them because it's kind of a reflection of Pat because he's I'm not saying he's not a fun guy, but he's not a high personality guy in the sense of he's no Rick Pitino for sure. He's not boisterous and, he's not that. He's just here's what I do. This is how I do it. Let's get it done. I like
the epitome of that is James Scott.
Yes.
The center. Now, from my standpoint, he drives me crazy because he doesn't come to press conferences. But he goes in there and that dude dunks everything.
Yes.
I think he's second in the conference in dunks, and he's got like 35 dunks on the season. It's some insane number. But he just comes down, does his job. And again, his facial expression doesn't change. He can come down there and dunk somebody, just runs down the court. So they're very business-like. They're a very mature bunch.
Yeah.
He's only a sophomore, but the rest of them, that you could tell they are a very mature team. Even though this is their first year all together, they're all came from programs that played in the NCAA tournament. So if and when they get to the NCAA tournament, they're not going to be overwhelmed by the stage because they've all been there. And so they're going to be an interesting team.
They are.
Coming
they
down
really
the stretch
are.
Because, they're going to get a lot about coming out of the ACC, about the ACC being down. And you see that a lot when people want to criticize them. But their strength of schedule preseason was like number 8 in the country. And so they are battle tested. I mean, they got smacked by Tennessee. They got smacked by Ole Miss. They gave a game away against Oklahoma. But they are going to be a tough out whenever they do get to the tournament. And I would like to see what happens if they're able to meet Duke in the ACC tournament, because they gave Duke all they wanted when they played the first time. And I would like to see what that looks like if they play again.
If there's such thing as bad losses, I think they have them, because when you lose key players like they have, and then that turns into what's going on now, you typically, just historically looking at teams or whatever, you typically only get better as the season goes along, because you're drawing. This is the type of team that seems to be drawing on all of it, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And that's what makes them really interesting going down the stretch. Same thing with the women's team. Like, they had some really bad losses early on, but now it seems like all of those bad losses are producing some really interesting wins. And so now, as you turn that corner to February and March, it's like, this could be an interesting squad. We saw that with our own Charlie Ward as his teams in high school basketball. This is when you want to be playing your best basketball coming down the stretch.
Speaking of, how is Charlie Ward's basketball?
See what we did there, Charlie? See how we made that happen?
Professional segue.
We're
tag team back again.
We're doing okay. We lost our last game by 5 on the road to the number 2 team in the state, but we were right up there as well. It was a tough game. We didn't execute as well when we needed it. They shot very well at home, and there was some tough calling. To be able to overcome a lot of missed calls on our end, both ends, and like I said, we didn't execute. We missed like 9 free throws. We lost by 5. We didn't have that many turnovers, but we just didn't execute when we needed it. And so next time we play them, we'll have a better opportunity to.
I like it.
Which would be going to the state playoffs or Final Four. So we're excited about where we are. We got 5 games left. We lost the game due to the weather, which was more of a rivalry game. Everyone here in the city is wanting to beat us because the last 3 years or so that hadn't been the case. And so the team that
I'm so mad at you that you waited till Jayda was going to do this.
I know.
And that was a Charlie Ward humble flex.
Why did you say that?
Well, it's true.
It ain't bragging if it's true.
It ain't bragging if you're backing it up. It is not.
I'm just saying we're gonna miss a game that's a rival game due to the weather.
That's not all you said, Charlie.
That's not all you said.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. That's what I was trying to get to before this humble flex thing.
That's what you got to after you humble flex.
It's fine.
It's true. Everyone in the city is trying to beat us. And so, but we got a chance. I mean, we got 5 games left. Should win them all. One of the teams is pretty good team. They're 19-1. They're in this private school and
they all right.
And
it's kind of like Jayda talking about Preston jumper.
He's okay. So we're gonna put our best foot forward here, moving forward, as we get prepared for the district tournament and then the regional tournament. I'm just trying to get people to play with the shot clock.
and Charlie was a success last week at the Louisville Invitational Tournament. It was a success.
Like we didn't have, like the games were probably great flow to the game.
Yeah,
scoring was probably, whether it was good or not, it was just good to see people at some point just saying, "Hey man, I gotta shoot." Like.
And the funny thing is like when I talked to everybody I talked to around here, like it wasn't going to make a deal because they get up and they run up and down the floor here anyway. It's those smaller schools, like that Louisville Invitational Tournament. The shot clock was never going to be an issue. It's never going to be an issue.
And see, to me, when it's not an issue, it may be 1 or 2 possessions, because from a defensive standpoint, if you can guard that long, I mean, for 30 seconds to get a team to rush at the end, if you're shooting bad shots, like that's okay if it's before that. But the flow of the game is totally different.
The scores for the championship, the team that won the championship. Now the scores were down, but it wasn't a shot clock. They won.
100.
They won their first. They scored 95 in their first game in the tournament and 86 in the second.
Who was that?
Then the St. X, they're the number 1 team. And it's crazy, Lloyd, that St. X is the number 1 team in the state. But you could tell when they had to step up in competition because they won the semifinal game 61-59. But then they won the championship game against their arch rival Trinity 68-44. So it didn't have an effect though. The scores were down, but that's just field goal percentage.
I mean, but the flow of the game is always, to me, much better. Like there's no stagnant moments where a team's gonna hold the ball, pull it out, hold the ball, pull it out, hold the ball, and the defense saying, "Hey, I'm not going out there," and they're sitting there watching each other.
Right.
Like, there's a consistent flow. To me, that's the biggest difference. The scoring, people will try to equate. Well, it's not going to equate to score. No, it may not. Skills equate to scoring, but the flow of the game is just totally different. The entire game, because I was just sitting there watching. I watch a lot of film, but just sitting here watching some of these teams we're getting ready to play or playing. If it's like a minute, or even during the middle of the game, and they're up, they're going to take a whole minute off the clock, just to kill. And I've done the same thing. We take a whole minute off the clock in the middle of the quarter.
Yeah,
that makes no sense. In a regular. But
especially when you're only playing 8-minute quarters.
100.
A minute is a big chunk of the game.
Right, that's a long time.
Yeah, because like if a team is up by 3 or 4 possessions with 2 minutes to go,
Yes, you can.
It's over.
Yes. If they have guards that can handle the ball.
Yeah.
Right.
And the crazy part about it is most times when I sit here and watch them, they hold it, they'll go in their stall game for like their minute or so, and then turn the ball over.
Yeah.
Like after they get to 45 seconds, they'll turn the ball over.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I guess they accomplished what they want to accomplish. But I'm like, you could have got a bucket or at least try to get a score.
Right.
If you're gonna turn it over.
Right. Before we get out of here, we got a couple of different things we need to do. Number one, your quick thoughts on championship game this past week.
Exciting fourth quarter.
Say it one more time. I'm sorry.
Exciting fourth quarter.
It was.
Notre Dame made it exciting. I was happy that they didn't just lay down because they were overwhelmed. Ohio State was an overwhelming team. Kind of knew they were going to win it. But, I mean, Notre Dame showed some fight, and a lot of people second-guessing that field goal attempt that missed, but I'm like, you had to get points there. And it's fourth. It wasn't like it was 4th and goal on the 2. It's 4th and goal from the 9. It's essentially 4th and 9. So I don't blame him for the kick. And they were still in it even after they missed the kick until they gave up the deep ball. So shout out to Notre Dame because, I mean, they did at least make it a game. They didn't just lay it down when Ohio State jumped out to the big lead.
Yeah, I was impressed with Notre Dame and their fight, resilience. And, first half wasn't ideal for them because offensively they had the long drive and we were sitting here trying to figure out how that was going to be sustainable. And it wasn't in that stint, or at least the first half. And Ohio State, offensively, like Notre Dame didn't have an answer for anything they were doing. They were just kind of on the ropes and hanging on for the rest of the first half. And, the score at halftime was what it was because they limited possessions for the most part in their time possession. But the second half to me was more indicative of what the game should have looked like, the entire game. And I think if Notre Dame offensively could have put together some of those drives during the first half, the game would have been what it was in the second half. And then defensively as well, they started getting stops. Even though they were still moving the ball up and down the field, they were able to get necessary stops when they needed them. I was saying the same thing when Coach Freeman sent the kicker out, because one of the things that I don't like sometimes as coaches when they make these decisions, especially in football, they'll be like 4th and 9 or 4th and 8 or whatever it may be, and they try to go for it. When to me, if you have a field goal kicker that you feel comfortable in or confident in, why not go ahead and get the points? Take those points, because especially if it's early, because you never know when those points are going to be needed. And they just keep going for it on fourth and 6 and 7 or whatever it may be, instead of just kicking the field goal to get the points. Because you look back, he makes that field goal, they come back on the back end and get a stop, and then they go down and score. And so to me, that's a 10-point swing.
Right. Yeah.
If he makes the field goal, and you're still in the game, even though it was 13 points at the time, 16 points that you were down, and you're only cutting to 13. I'm like, you got to keep playing the game.
Right.
That's just like a team in basketball who decides we're down 8 points with like 30 some seconds to go. So they come down and shoot a 3-pointer, as opposed to going and extending the game and getting a layup. Just to keep extending the game, because you never know. They may miss a free throw, and now at some point you can get your 3 whenever it is.
Yeah, I just watched the game. Did that the other night. I was so frustrated.
My buddy Chris and I, nothing drives us more crazy. If a team is down by 3 with, say, a minute to go, and they just chuck up a 3 instead of going to the basket, drives us both crazy. It drives us crazy.
It's very frustrating.
There's a time to do all that stuff, but sometimes you just need to get points to be able to extend the game.
Right. Because like I said, you never know somebody's going to miss a free throw. And up by one.
Let's just take Baltimore Ravens. Was it Baltimore? Yeah, the Ravens.
Yeah, when they went for 2 in the third quarter.
100. Tanja, my wife, Tanja, yes. She was saying, kick the field goal. Like,
Kristen said the same thing.
why are you going for 2 in the third quarter? Like, just kick the field goal because you want to keep extending the game because if they kick the field goal that time, did they miss the 2-point conversion? And now it's a 1-point game when you needed when you went for 2 to tie it.
You could have tied it with an extra point. Yeah. It's my theory on 2-point conversions in general is like I wouldn't do it until the fourth quarter because you're always chasing that point if you don't get it. That's why I just wait till the fourth quarter to go for the
analytics thing, and everybody's following analytics now, and it's frustrating because you're like, there's analytics and there's just common sense. Like this doesn't really make sense to do this at this moment, and it's going to cost you more than you're going to gain. Like if you don't make this, you're going to be behind, and you may not. You're assuming that you're going to catch up. And I get the whole we're building confidence in our team thing, but your team should be already confident. Like, what are we talking about right now? If we got to keep proving confidence on the field, how confident are you really?
Now, I will give in Baltimore's defense, though, both of those 2-point conversions, they did what they were supposed to. They got a wide open receiver on both of them.
Well,
they executed them. Just Buffalo made a good play knocking it down on the first one, and Mark Andrews just dropped it. And I feel so bad for him because he's such a great player, probably a Hall of Famer. So I do feel bad for him. It does drive me crazy when I see people like Chris Sims saying, "Well, Lamar could have thrown a better pass." I'm like, he hit him in the chest. What are we doing here?
I'm not going to do is say Chris.
Yes, Chris Sims.
I'm not going to say Chris Sims slander.
Yes, Chris Sims said that Lamar should have thrown a better pass on that 2-point conversion that hit Mark Andrews right in the stomach.
No,
hit the man in the like people. You want to hit people in the chest, in the stomach, so they can fall into the end zone like he was doing.
Right.
I don't know what other pass. I mean, he didn't throw it. He didn't throw it to where he had to extend.
No.
It could not have been a better pass if he tried.
Right.
The only thing he could have done is if he flipped it to him like that.
I'm like, Peyton Manning threw ducks for his whole career. Nobody blamed him if somebody dropped one of them.
That wasn't a duck. That was a nice.
I know this was just
perfect pass. He just dropped it.
I'm like, man, we just looking for ways to blame this man.
NFL Honors just released their listings. Who's getting what or who's nominated for what. Very interesting at the top. The AP Most Valuable Player has 5 candidates instead of 3. You had to say
let me try to guess.
Go ahead.
Lamar.
Yes.
Josh.
Yes.
Saquon.
Of course.
Burrow.
The last 2 are pretty obvious.
Jayda.
From a performance perspective. Think about Burrow, yes. And one more.
Burrow.
And then think about the records.
Derrick Henry.
No. Jared Goff. Jared Goff takes the 5th. So which makes me think that the voting is going to be very interesting.
What did you just ask?
Those are the 5 candidates for the MVP.
MVP.
So it's Lamar, Josh, Burrow, Saquon, and Jared Goff.
Yeah. Which makes me think that Josh is going to win it.
Me too.
Because it's going to be the votes are going to be spread out.
Honestly, though, keeping it all the way real, I think I would give it to Saquon.
Saquon deserves it.
Yeah.
But it's a quarterback award most times.
I know.
And 4 quarterbacks on this list.
Yeah. I mean, if it wasn't for Saquon, Philadelphia would be sitting at home because they tried their hardest to lose to the Rams. Yeah. He did everything they could do to lose to the Rams, except for Saquon.
Who are you giving it to, Charlie?
I would give it to Saquon because you very rarely have a 2,000-yard rusher. I mean, that's not like something that happens every year. And he has his team in one of the conference championships. And so, and he's their guy. Like
he's pretty much the offense at that point.
If he's not there, they're average.
By the way, would absolutely be nowhere without Saquon this year. You're welcome.
Great job by you. Great job by your Giants.
Defensive players got Zach Bond, Miles Garrett, Trey Henderson, Patrick Surtain, TJ Watt. That's a tricky one.
Say it again.
Zach Bond from Philly, Miles Garrett, Trey Henderson, Patrick Surtain, and TJ Watt. Not all guys from it's cold.
I like Surtain a lot. I'm in the camp now at this point with Myles Garrett that I can just give him the defensive player every year. It was a monster. But and I can see TJ Watt too, though, because he's literally won games for the Steelers this year. You know what? I think I'll go TJ Watt.
I can't train. Trey Henderson. That's the only bright spot on this Bengals defense. Like the rest of the defense is not very good. So, I don't know. I don't know what to say about that.
But it's going to be interesting because I said, because Surtain has been so good in the secondary that I think he's helping the defensive front seven get sacks because of his coverage in the secondary. Can you see that, Charlie?
Say that again.
Surtain's been so good in the secondary that I think his coverage is so good in the secondary that he helps them get sacks up front with coverage sacks.
It's hard. Sometimes it's hard to single out a defensive back.
Yeah, it is.
For player of the year, unless he is what you say that part of it, and then he has like 7 or 8 interceptions,
a ridiculous amount of turnovers.
Something calls fumbles, but just to say you shut down a side or you shut down a man or shut down whatever, it's hard to warrant
equate that
being a defensive MVP. Most times, I don't know the history, but most times the MVP is going to be very similar like the quarterback, the edge rusher.
Somebody up front. Yep.
Someone that has a bunch of sacks, hurries, may have a few interceptions. So that's normally, or a linebacker that's very dominant with their tackling, interceptions. So those are normally the ones who, I may be wrong, but
I can tell you who's going to be in that conversation very soon. Your boy Verse.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Man, I mean, could you imagine if Aaron Donald hadn't retired or if he comes out of retirement? Good luck.
NFC West is breathing a sigh of relief as we speak. Speaking of Verse, Defensive Rookie of the Year, Cooper DeJean, Brandon Fisk, Quinion Mitchell, Chop Robinson, and Jared Verse. It's Jared Verse for me.
It's Jared Verse for me.
Yeah. He'll win it because, he's the only rookie that made the All-Pro team.
Yeah. Cooper DeJean was really good. He was a surprise for the Eagles.
He was.
Is that the guy from Michigan?
Is that where he's from?
I think he is from. I want to say.
I just know he was all over the place. I mean, he lit up Derrick Henry in that game when they played at Baltimore, and he's just all over the place on the field. He's impressive.
You know, two of those guys on the list. Two of those guys on that list is from a school
that lost all its games this year.
lost the majority of their games this year. But they've had great history.
They do have a great history. They do have a great history.
That is true.
They will be back.
We're not going to isolate our year.
They will be back, says Charlie.
They'll be back.
They will be back.
Offensive Rookie of the Year. I mean, we can list the names: Brock Bowers, Malik Neighbors,
Jeremiah Smith.
Thomas. This is Jayden Daniels.
It's Jayden Daniels. Yes.
I mean,
Brock Bowers is right up there, though.
Had a phenomenal year. Cannot take that away from him.
But it's Jayden Daniels.
Oh, Jayden
Daniels. Player of the Year, I'm conflicted. Because they have Joe Burrow here, and I don't understand why.
I say Jeremiah Smith.
On comeback?
Rookie of the Year.
Ohio
State.
It's Jayden Daniels.
Jaden's gonna win it. Yeah, Jaden's gonna win. Comeback is Joe Burrow, Sam Darnold, J.K. Dobbins, Christian Gonzalez, and DeMar Hamlin, which I don't understand why DeMar Hamlin's on this list.
How's he on there 2 years in a row?
Right, like I get last year, but
and where did Burrow come back from? I mean, he got hurt last year.
Burrow come back from? I don't understand.
He was hurt last year. He had that elbow thing last year.
Yeah, but I don't know.
Elbow or wrist?
One of them.
Yeah.
I like J.K. Dobbins there.
I guess because he hadn't been seen in a while.
J.K. Dobbins got hurt this year, didn't he?
But I think at the end. But he had a great season though.
Is Sam Darnold a comeback player?
Yeah.
Did he leave? Did something happen to him?
Yeah, he wasn't no good. He's probably gonna win. He's probably gonna win it.
He's probably gonna win it, but I'm saying, how's that a comeback though? Like, come back from what? I don't remember him being back.
He came back from off. He came back from off the bench.
From the bench, okay. I was like, is that?
Yeah, he came back from the scout team.
It's like a comeback as much. Coach of the Year: Dan Campbell, Kevin O'Connell, Dan Quinn, Andy Reid. Andy Reid should not be on this list.
No,
I think I like Dan Quinn.
Dan Quinn would definitely be a good choice.
I feel like Dan Quinn should win.
Dan Campbell should as well. I mean,
but he was just in the NFC. He was in the NFC Championship this last year. I mean, he was there.
but to be able to repeat that and be the number one seed, because last year they weren't the number one seed.
That's true.
True.
That's true.
I still lean towards Dan Quinn though.
I'm Dan Quinn. I'm Team Dan Quinn. Nobody saw this coming.
No.
Nobody saw this coming.
And I mean, what a Washington franchise. I mean, this is the furthest they've been in the playoffs since, was it like 97 or something stupid? Because they had the longest streak before the Cowboys, and now the Cowboys had the longest streak.
They got a chance to beat.
Yeah. Yeah. If Jalen Hurts doesn't figure it out.
Jalen Hurts to me doesn't scare me the way Jayden Daniels does.
Right.
Because for one, I think Jalen's hurt, and two, I don't know what's going on with their passing game in general. They got too many weapons for their passing game to struggle like it does.
Yeah. Well, who we picking? Who's playing in the Super Bowl?
This is a tough. I think. Go ahead, Charles.
I want to see Saquon.
That's what I want to see in
there. But I don't know if they're gonna make it. You know, they have the best run game. Their passing is just, to me, is not on point. Defensively, they're solid. But I like to see Jayden Daniels in the Super Bowl, and the Commanders. I think they're a solid team against Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills.
I would like to see the Bills get over that hump against the Chiefs. And I kind of feel like the Chiefs' luck this season might finally run out because
them Chiefs just keep getting them calls. And I bring it up because I watched the other one. I watched the 2 calls that caused some issues against the Texans.
Yeah,
those were bogus.
Yeah, very much.
Yeah,
very much so. I'm looking for the throwback Super Bowl. I'm going Bills Commanders. I need a throwback Super Bowl.
We do too.
Yeah,
I think that's what I want. That's what even though I would like to see Saquon in there.
I like to see Saquon get it too.
But I you know what it kind of feels like with Jalen Hurts is like how his Alabama career ended. It's like he was good for a while, but then it catches up. But I still think he's hurt. I do think he is. Well, he obviously hurt his knee in that game, but I think he's got other injuries going on that has kind of hampered him all season because he hasn't really been great all season. He's had his moments, but I think I'm going to go. I think Buffalo's going to finally get over that hump against Patrick Mahomes. You know what, Charlie? I'm going to go ahead and pick it. I think Washington's going to go in there and beat Philadelphia.
I think so too.
Yeah, me
The
too.
kid doesn't flinch.
No, he does not. He doesn't.
So
he hadn't flinched. Like I hadn't seen him flinch like in no time.
Like ever.
He's played the same way. He's played the same way all the times that I've seen him play. I mean, he's developed from his Arizona State days, but he played very similar in a lot of ways. He just matured when he got to LSU. And as a rookie, he's still doing the same thing. Right? He's still running. He's still passing. Very efficient. He throws very good balls. He knows where he wants to go with the football, and it just makes it so tough on the defense to defend because you got to account for him in the run game. I mean, in that run game area. But if you do that, you're taking somebody out of the pass game, which he's prolific there. And so I just like watching him play.
Yeah.
Plus he does it with him not turning the ball over. He puts pressure on the other offense because you're either going to have to drive the ball 80, 90 yards down the field to score, or you're going to have to score to keep up with them because he doesn't turn the ball over. So he's the ultimate weapon right now.
To me, the most interesting thing that they did this past weekend is the length of the drive. 8 minutes for a drive. That's a nerve-wracking type thing because if you can't score if you're not on the field unless your defense makes a play. And if they can't make a play, then that puts a lot of pressure on the offense to have to do something.
And that's what makes him so dangerous because he can grind out an 8-minute drive or he can hit the one play 70-yarder. And so they're good, and we get to deal with us and the Giants get to deal with them for the next 20 years.
So great for us.
Great. He's already better than Dak. In 10 minutes.
Oh my goodness. Let's get some shout outs. Who we shouting out before we walk out the door here?
Coach Junior.
I had some shout outs, but I forgot them.
I'm sure they're all Seminole based.
Right. just shout out the Seminole.
Right. Remember your Seminoles. They'll all come back.
No, we lost to Cal last night.
Yes. Yes, it is. So if that's the case, Lloyd, there's hope for you because the next year they lost to the Giants in the Super Bowl.
I'm hoping for a turnaround, baby. I'm hoping for a turnaround. Tennessee might have tipped their hand. They might have tipped their hand.
But
sounds like Travis. Either Travis may go first, or they're gonna trade out of that spot.
Well, they said they're not going to pass up on a generational talent, but which one are they considering the generational talent?
Gotta be Travis, right?
This is Tennessee. Who knows?
They could be looking at a center saying this guy's amazing. That would be the most Tennessee thing to do, right?
Which actually professional segues into my shout out, which is ironically to Travis Hunter, because he won the Paul Hornung Award again for the second straight year.
I told you.
Well, we knew that.
Oh.
But the consternation was they was worried if he would come back for the award ceremony because he's already been here. He is coming back. He's coming back. And there's another element they're adding to it that I don't know if I'm allowed to share that yet. So I'll hold on to that. But there's another element to him winning that award that will also be a community-based award for his community service. And so shout out to him because he can easily understand why he'd be like, oh, I've already done that. But no, he's coming back.
Who do you think? What do you think he'd be more excited about, the Paul Hornung Award or the tennis shoes and jersey he got from Anthony Edwards last night?
Probably the Anthony Edwards, though. Even though he about ended his career in that celebration. Did you see that? Oh,
I did.
Did you see that, Charlie?
In the high school game.
He is a high school all-star game. This kid, for one, the play that the kid made, he makes a one-handed catch in double coverage, comes down, jukes a guy, and scores.
Tight double coverage. Like
I don't know, because like you can barely even see him catch the ball. Yeah. Travis comes running out there with the kid to celebrate. So, they're trying to jump into each other. Travis slips and like bends backwards. And so the kid's in the air. The kid just falls onto the ground.
Hold on, bends backwards with his knee folding under him itself. So it looks like, is this?
It was both knees.
Are we watching the torn ACL in real time? Is that what's about to happen? It looked really bad.
Can you call up Twitter on here, Lloyd? Because it's just on Twitter. Because I want Charlie to see it.
I'll pull it up for us. Yeah, I can't play it, but I'll definitely pull it up for us.
Yeah.
It was a wild play. It was a wild play.
But shout out to him for coming back, and the host of that ceremony is very happy for that.
Awesome. All right. My shout out is to you, Kendrick, and Jayda to the show. Shout out to Jayda. Amazing. We appreciate that. And the All-Star guys will be announced tonight. So shout out to those who will make the All-Star team. One guy I'm really hoping makes the All-Star team. He won't make the starting five, but I'm hoping he makes the team itself. Is Cade Cunningham. I've had a chance to see him play this season.
He should make it.
Nothing short of brilliant. That kid is really putting on the show and showing the reason why he was taken when he was taken. He looks like a number one player.
And shout out to the young talent making their names now, because the NBA needs to start marketing them and kind of not so much pushing them out the door, but we need to start sending more recognition and more attention to the Cade Cunninghams, the Anthony Edwards, the John Morants, and the Jaren Jacksons, and all those guys. Paolo Banchero, all these young players have been playing great this season. And, the older guys, we love them. But if you want to keep it fresh, it's time to start kind of edging that spotlight down towards the younger guys
now. Yep, it's time. So that's it. That's all we got. Hope you guys have enjoyed it.
I know.
Oh, he finally got it. There you go, Charles.
Yeah.
See, we filibustered long enough.
There you go.
Shout out to my man Aaron Glenn.
Yes.
For the Jets.
It seemed like a no-brainer for them.
Yeah, he's a Jet through and through. That's where he played most of his career, or at least I think he got drafted there. So I'm very happy for him.
Were y'all in New York at the same time, Charles?
Yes, we were. So I'm happy for him and his getting opportunity. Now he has to make a decision on if he's going to deal with the quarterback.
He's a lot.
We can help him with that decision if you like. Aaron, if you're watching, Don't do it.
He's inheriting a lot between the quarterback, the owner's kids. he's inheriting a lot.
Well, you can get one of your problems out of the building right now.
Don't quarterback. But
yes,
I don't know if he's the guy.
No, he's not. Go get your own quarterback.
His numbers were pretty good at the end of the year.
Don't do it.
He put up some numbers.
Don't get the Kendrick. Don't do it.
I'm just saying.
Don't do it.
Being fair and balanced. He did put up numbers at the end of the year. And the games didn't matter, but put them up.
You ain't listen to me.
Just rebel rousing.
You know, people hear what they want to hear sometimes. I don't even want you thinking about it. Make that decision right now. We can help you.
The Jets being bad is always funny though, because their fans get
but now I don't want them to be bad. Now I need them to be, you know. Now
I want them to be good. But they're still irrationally mad for an organization that has very little history. It's hilarious.
Right. All right. That's a fantastic shout out. We got all about Aaron Williams, but shout out to Aaron Williams. All right. We will do this all again next week. That's the great Ken Casson. That's Charlie Ward. I'm Lloyd Spence. And we'll be back next time on BLEAV in the ACC.
You've been listening to BLEAV in the ACC with Charlie Ward, Lloyd Spence, and Kendrick Haskins. Please like, follow, subscribe, and share from the Noisemakers page on Facebook and on YouTube. And you can also listen to us on Spotify, Apple Music, iTunes, and wherever podcasts can be heard. And join us next time on BLEAV.